I pull up in foreign whips. Hey, touch your leg with my fingertips. You looking in that rear view. Yeah, do you listen, then you blow a kiss. It's something about the way that your silhouette do a pirouette, the form of two naked bodies in bed. Yeah, a bee sting only for a taste. The spring revives whatever went until you ever feel it was never real. Like everything we built was only time to kill. I never was the one to rely on. And if you're up, leave a light on.
Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the channel, Gang Fam Squad, what's up? We made it back from battle safely, thank God that shit was sick, but today, more importantly, we are going to be starting the trunk setup in the GTR. I'm going to teach you today about tanks, sealing tanks. We're going to get the setup started and we'll see how far we get today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let's get today started. Peace. Now when it comes to your tank build, you have a couple options. I have about 3 of the 5 standard tanks that people pretty much run. These 2 right here are from Accuair. This is from Airlift. We're gonna go over the pros and cons real quick. This 5 gal was the old endo that I was running in the GTR. I actually ran this in my Z as well. This is seen better days. It's a little beat up. Not too bad, it just has a little wear. Pros and cons to the 5 gal. Obviously it can maintain a lot of air. With it being maintain a lot of air, it's gonna be less work on your compressor on and off, because once you fill it up, you're pretty much good to go for the day unless you're airing out and airing up 24/7, 365. The ender tanks from Accuair are fairly heavy. They have this coated. They are not as lightweight as the airlift tanks. So cons to this pretty much is it's a lot of stress if you mount it upwards. I know the ender tanks with the compressors in them, you cannot mount them upside down. They have to be mounted a certain way. So this is basically if you just wanted to run one, pretty much. If you wanted to run one tank, this is pretty much how you do it. And you don't have too many options, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably putting this like in the floor. So, you know, I mean, it's just been done so many times. It doesn't give you that much room for creativity. Here, this is the 3 gal. Right here, this is also from Accuair. Cons, you know, obviously it doesn't hold as much air. It is still fairly heavy for a 3 gal. Obviously not as hard as a 5. So if you're working in a smaller space, maybe a 3 gallon is a better choice for you. But today we're gonna try something completely different. I actually ended up ordering 2 of these. So for the GTR setup, we're gonna be running 2 this way. And 1 is going to be a tank with all the hardware, basically the pressure fittings, all the lines running to the compressor, and the other tank is basically just going to be a housing tank. So these tanks will be joined, they'll be united. One will just be all for air, and the other one will be all air plus fittings. They'll be connected. So 2 3 gallons will actually give us 6, which is more than this bad boy right here. And I think it'll look more aesthetic. We'll run them this way in the car. We'll have 2, maybe some little fancy stuff. But let's not forget the airlift tank right here. This is Airlift's 6 gallon tank. I do believe they do make a smaller one as well. Pros, it's very lightweight, extremely lightweight. So you can pretty much mount this thing whatever. A lot of airlift guys mount their tanks to the ceiling of the trunk. Very good option. It really saves space. It comes with all the fittings. The only cons is they do come in this raw material. Not really aesthetically the best thing. You have spot welds along the sides. The airlift tanks are actually sealed with an O-ring. So these don't leak or whatever. It's just aesthetically not as appealing as the endo tanks, as you can see by the finish. Just to give you guys a ballpark, these are like $350 for the 5 gallons in this color. And 3 gallons, this was $260 shipped to my house. So, and that's without any sponsorships or anything like that. That was just raw price. So that's pretty much what they go for. The airlift tank is like 120 or something. It's the cheapest out of all 3. And I'm pretty sure the smaller 5 gallon or 4 gallon is even less than this. So that's pretty much pros and cons for specs. How much does it cost? Functionality. Now we're going to get into what we're going to do with these tanks today, and I'm going to teach you guys how to seal your tanks, because it can be a little stressful, but it's really not that bad. So without further ado, let's get into that. Okay, So for the setup today, the airlift tank is actually for one of my buddy's installs. Just waiting for the rest of his components. The install today is pretty much going to be between tank 1 and tank 2. Now, like I said previously, we're going to be running 2 3 gallons vertically in the vehicle. We're just going to use this 5 gallon pretty much and pretend it's a 3 for right now. So we're going to put all the correct fittings where they need to go. So this 3 gallon here will be my main tank. This is going to have the lines to the compressors. You know what I'm saying? All the seals. It's going to have the pressure fitting that's going to go to the management that tells my compressor when and when to, you know, pump air. This one being my pretend 3, even though it's a 5. This is just going to be a sealed tank. It's going to have one line that runs to the other tank. So together these should be 6 gallons because we're pretending this is a 3. Relax. It'll be 6 gallons of air versus the normal 5. And again, everyone just puts this on the floor and that's it. So I just wanted to go something a little extra, a little more aesthetically pleasing. So we're gonna seal this tank right here. We're gonna put this one up to all the fittings. And then after that, we'll see how it looks. And I'm gonna show you guys how to seal them because previously doing it, I really didn't know. But I'm gonna show you guys the correct way so your suspension will not leak ever again. Mark my words. Okay, before we really get into it, let's go over a couple things if you are not mechanically inclined. To do the caps, which are these, and these basically cap off any holes in the tank that you're not going to be using. You're going to need an Allen key. For sealing, we're either going to use Teflon tape, or there's actually like a liquid Teflon, basically. It takes 48 hours to seal. I don't really like it that much, so for the sake of this video, we're going to be using just plain old Teflon. Doesn't have to seal, doesn't have to cure, so you get a bond right away. And we're going to be using push to connect fittings as well. These are 90 degrees. And push to connect is PTC, so for the rest of this video, these will be referred to as PTCs. This will seal the tank, and the line actually goes into here. And then once their air comes through, this little cap comes up, and it basically seals that line. So this is all the tools we're going to be using for today. I have a bunch of miscellaneous PTCs, fittings, and everything else in here. So, you know, let's get it started. So this is the pressure sensor right here. This is what one looks like. This cap comes off. There's a wire that goes into here, and it basically, whenever the tank is low on pressure, it sends a signal through this guy right here to the compressor saying, hey, we're low on air, we need some. Automatically turns the compressor on. And then once this has enough air in it, it turns the signal off and it shuts your compressor off. So as this being the rear side of the tank, we are going to be using this side first to seal. As for the other side, maybe we'll use the other side. This shit is all bronze, so there's nothing between the threads when it locks. This is what the Teflon is for. So when you want to use Teflon and when you're sealing anything, you always want to make sure your Teflon is clean. So there's no dirt in there. You always want to start with a fresh piece. I always take off like an inch past where I left it, just because it gets real wrinkly and everything else. So when you're doing Teflon and you're sealing anything, what you want to do is you want to go against the threads. So whichever way the threads are going, go the opposite way. And when you're wrapping Teflon, you want to go around it 3 times. Okay, 3 passes. Make sure it's tight as well. Run your finger along the groove. Again, 3 passes. Don't stretch it out. Just make it look normal. 3 passes, that's it. Boom. And then kind of just rub it in to place. And then when you're done, it'll look like this. And that is a good seal. 3 times. So, in placing this in, what you want to do is, let's get this out of the way because I was just test fitting. So we're going to put it in. Again, make sure that Teflon is down around the threads, like so. So we're going to put it in and just finger tighten it for right now. So right there is fairly tight. This is pretty tight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go a quarter turn to half turn past this, and that's how you know it'll have a perfect seal. Excuse me for using the wrong tool. I already feel like an idiot. Do the same thing, where we're just gonna tighten it. Because it's pretty tight, we're just gonna go quarter-inch turn. Okay, since this side is all we need for hardware, we still have 3 left, and these are what caps are for. And they're literally just what they sound like. They cap off the holes so no air seeps through. Now you get a bunch from Accuair. I also have a couple spare as well. What in the hell is this? Again, we're gonna have to tap on all these, but just get them out of the way. We need one for there. You can see too, they have this very nice like black chrome coating on them. Accuair really stepping it up, even though they've had these for a while. So they got one there. We're gonna need one there that needs tap on, and then there is one at the bottom, I do believe. Bam. Sealed. Three. That wasn't so bad. Got it. Seal it. Flop it. Spin it. Twist it. Pull it. Where the hell's my Allen at? So as you see for this side, we have both the fittings in. It is all capped up. This side is sealed, ready to go. The same thing for here. We have it all capped up, sealed. Now, the old 5-gallon that we're using, we actually used liquid Teflon for that. This did not leak at all. I'm not saying one is better than the other. The only issue is liquid Teflon takes like 48 hours to dry. This is right now. We haven't tested this for leaks yet, but you know, we will, obviously. No, it doesn't really matter. You could go 2 5-gallons if you want, 2 3s, 3 and a 5. It doesn't matter how you want to do your setup. I'm running 2 3s just because the GTR trunk is not that giant. This is the old 5 that was in the vehicle, but it's going to be replaced with a 3. That is all sealed off. So basically, this is how it would look. We're going to, in the next episode, make a false floor about half, submerge these like we did in the 370. And that's pretty much it. But this is what you would see in the front. I might actually even replace this for a copper hardline or something. Just something a little aesthetic. But as of right now, that's pretty much it. I hope this helped you guys into like learning how to seal tanks. So the only thing we really have left to do is just replace this 5-gallon tank and the other 3 when it comes. The setup is exactly the same. This is just previously sealed because this is what I was running. But that's pretty much it. We'll wait for the other 3. We'll test it for leaks, and then once all that is okie dokie, we will start building the custom false floor for the GTR. I'm going to chop it up here. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Instagram is Spam. If you're impatient, can't wait. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I helped a little bit at least, and that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Although my heart may be weak, it's not alone. It's grown with each new experience, and it's found a home with all the friends I've made. I've become part of their heart just as they've become a part of mine. And if they think of me now and then, if they don't forget me, then our hearts will be one. I don't need a weapon.
Yeah.
My friends are my power.